Well, thank you for joining us this evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kyle Corvus Crow. I'm joined at the desk tonight by the one and only Jeff Zeta Schnurr. As we got a little bit of Big Ten action coming on, Rutgers University taking on Indiana. This is, a football matchup most times out of the year, but excited we get to see them in some League of Legends tonight. Round of 16, both teams undefeated coming into this.
One of them has to fall, though, and we will be seeing who takes home the victory. I think this is one of the more storied matchups we've had in terms of school history, school rivalries maybe. But let's get introduced. Let's learn who the Rutgers guys are bringing to the table. Their roster should be coming up on your screen.
Yeah, absolutely. The Rutgers guys coming into this one, they're going to be facing off against a stout Indiana roster that does consist, of course, of Charles Speedy Lion Moore, James Daedric Bolus, Noah King Jeebus Kaufman, Ryan Dyer Bump Everts, and Elijah 7000 Kim. So these guys going to be squaring off against one another as we do take a quick look at Indiana's record coming into this thus far. We said they were undefeated, obviously, so is Rutgers, but Indiana stands out in that they've actually not dropped a single game in their dominant run thus far. And if I can direct your attention to that second little bit of information on the standing, that second data point, Carleton University, that's a team that we watched put up a really dominant performance last week. Zeta, you and I saw that, them just come in and really stick it out. Carleton, another team, in this playoffs contention at this point. So, Indiana looking strong if we're going by strength of schedule here thus far. But with that, we are pretty much ready to go ahead and get into the picks and bans, the drafts for these two teams. So it is going to be Rutgers over there on the blue side, Indiana on the red side to start things off here, and curious to see what they're going to jump straight away into picking up here, because the Draven comes off the table as a ban. Certainly a target at Dyer Bump there. They don't want him getting to play that. The thing about getting this late in the season is you have a lot of film on your opponents, right? You know exactly. There's a lot of data that you can jump to for their picks, their bans, and a lot of material that you can scout.
Yeah, and by this point, you gotta know, what they're really prioritizing. The meta has shifted slightly going into this last part of the season. We've got a little bit of that Dark Harvest coming back in, Preseason starting to shake things up, and so maybe things do change. Interestingly, Best Kennen NA has the same tag as the mid laner for RIT.
Huh. Like same exact...
Same exact clan tag.
Hey, you know what? Collegiate LoL is a bit of a tight-knit group.
Well, they're also... He's master, this other guy's master. It's probably something to do with that, too.
Right.
So,
yeah,
a little bit of that back and forth, the shared stuff. But as well, you're finally to our actual picks. The Aatrox Cure can't really go wrong. It's a very strong top lane. Very consistent in how it outputs the damage. It does so in a very, very easy to recover from manner as well, right? You get that, reset on your ultimate, you get to live second time. The Urgot's good into it though, and so Speedy Lion probably going to have a pretty decent matchup in this. I don't think that Andes is going to be, walking over anybody. He's not just going to be winning, but it's also not going to be the easiest lane in the world.
No, it's certainly not a gimme in this situation, so a lot of that then begins to draw attention. Okay, what are the rest of the matchups? How good at roaming is your mid laner? What's your jungler doing these days?
Yeah.
Because both of these guys are people that you want to get rolling. These are not the type of top laners that you just leave on an island and say, you know what, it's not a big deal. These are win condition top laners, right? So having them picked up, pulled in here, that's going to be a big one to see. Well, the Scion is locked in, likely going to be for Best Kennen in A there, but Scion has a bit of flex potential in the current meta, not as much as most champions that you would consider flex, but you can do some cheeky things with Scion. We'll see how that does work out, but meanwhile, Braum locked up. That one's almost certainly going to be for Sweaty Toast. And they'll answer back with the support pick of their own, potentially, as the Thresh covered, locked in. They take it out and away. They want that one on the docket for themselves. And now we're already into the second round of bans. This one going a little fast.
Yeah, it's going a bit faster than usual. And another interesting thing I think about this so far is when you secure both the Scion and the Braum, right? You're saying, okay, we got ourselves a front line, and now it's a huge front line. But you're still leaving yourself open to getting banned out on these power picks, right? They've already got Lucian Thresh. If they ban out the Triss, if they ban out the Xayah, it's going to be kind of hard to find yourself that safe hyper carry that would be so benefited by having this front. So maybe, you know, they could go to something that's a little bit more aggressive of a pick. The Jhin is still open. They can actually maybe even flex towards something that, you know, is a little bit less played, slightly more mobile. The Sivir, still on the table, still very good in certain scenarios, in run-at-you compositions, and in teamfight late-game scaling ones as well. The Ezreal, though, that's a fantastic ban. He has been rising through the ranks extremely quickly as a strong AD carry. He's made a name for himself at ending games super fast, and he's got pretty decent scale, at least into the mid-phase as well. So to take him off the table means that Coax is going to need to bring out one of these secondary picks. Sivir, Tristana, you know, those are the things that we generally see people hover towards. And with Lucian Thresh being the opposing lane, you can kind of go something a little bit safer. You know, you're already going to be giving up some pressure, so might as well make it a safe, comfortable lane that you can scale out of.
We'll see what they do decide to opt for here, as it is maybe the jungle coming out. Yeah, the Gragas locked up, out, and away. Going to be the one that does come down. So Daedric will be having that champion, and we directed our attention earlier towards just how, you know, junglers are going to impact these top lanes. Well, Gragas, one that could really potentially make a big difference against Andes on this Aatrox. But now the big question, you know, we've been waiting to see what this AD from Coax might be. You mentioned the Jhin earlier. Yeah, okay. He's hovering it. Should just be locked in here, and no real surprises. So the mid laner has to go in picking blind. Sweaty Toast will decide Rem's fate here, and then they'll just do the even 1-for-1 trade. No big swap arounds in this day and age. But
Kassadin's on the table. I do like a cast in this composition.
Well, they, you know, have to pick it blind, and so the Echo
really strong as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
something they feel safe enough on. That
I mean, it's not just the safety, right? The Echo is super strong. He walks into a lane, goes, and then everyone's gone. They just vanish. They die. They evaporate. He is a very strong laner. Fantastic roam potential. He's not on the same level as Kassadin in terms of late game scaling, but that's not really what they want out of this team, right? After selecting the Jhin, saying, okay, we can't go super late, now they're looking to focus around the same kind of power spike. Mid-game, 1 to 2 items, use the huge beef boys, and just run into the team, get the win, straight through that 5-man wombo combo style. I think it's going to be a fantastic composition, but on the other side, right, if Lucian gets ahead, if the Urgot manages to find some purchase, this is still a very tough team to deal with.
Right. And
a little bit of hang on that zero.
Yeah, this has been happening throughout just our client in the modern day and age 2018 league. So we'll see exactly what this is if we get the chance, actually, because being this close to the end of the draft phase, you never know if it's actually going to come on through or not. Just keep an eye on this and give it all about 20-25 more seconds, but by the time we get into the game, we'll know, right? Then we can.
Yeah, we have to by then, right?
Decide. Yeah, it is the mid laner too, so this is a
I think we
pick.
did actually have a quip though, to fill a little bit of the time. We do have a quip from the side of, I believe it is Indiana University.
So actually,
Rutgers,
this is while we're loading into the game here, and we will find out what that pick is. Suspense is killing us all. We caught up with Rutgers and asked them a little bit about some of their preparation strategy, how they've been doing well, and what differentiates them from other teams. And well, son of a gun, if these meme lords don't just tell us a heartwarming story of their unofficial team mascot this year, cat named Oreo, is loved by the entire team, 4 months old. So Kitten is the pet of our manager and captured the hearts of our team during VOD reviews. He's our special Rengar 1 trick. In all seriousness, our team is not only highly motivated this year, but they also have fun playing together. We play best when we're having fun and enjoying ourselves, as is evinced there, of course, by our wonderful Oreo here. So best of luck to Rutgers and Oreo here as they do try to take on, like we said, a very tall order school, Indiana here, coming in absolutely ready to make a statement in today's games, and we will be getting that on your screen as quickly as we possibly can, because we are certainly into game number 1. Rutgers on the blue side, Indiana over on the red, and we'll see what these two teams can come away with here. Get that out of here, the Alt-Z. No one wants GeForce Experience in their League of Legends.
You know...
Really not sure why this isn't actually going away.
I can't exactly explain that. You know, sometimes maybe hit the settings, see if it closes. The Alt-Z and hit the settings. Yeah, it's like...
Well, this is really not ideal.
Can you Alt-Z and hit it again? 1 second. Let me see something. Really apologies here, guys.
They've got this early game strategy. Doesn't matter.
Just hit the settings again, real quick. Click that gear icon. Yeah.
I know what
And
the
the
settings
HUD
icon
layout.
is.
Turn that entirely off. Yeah.
Oh goodness, not gone
we're
yet.
gonna leave it. Whatever.
Okay, well, hopefully this up and takes care of itself.
For any
at
of you
some
who are
point.
wondering if these are faked, now you know they are absolutely not. There's no way to record something exactly like this ahead of schedule.
No.
0 chance.
Yeah, this is good old live streaming for you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll try to doctor that as soon as we possibly can, and hope that it doesn't follow us into the near future here. But either way, start-wise, nothing too crazy coming down. Ended up actually being mid lane Aatrox versus mid lane Urgot, what they decided to go for here, and ended up doing the Fiora Scion opposing one another in the top lane with the Echo Jungle. Something we could have actually touched on a lot when it came to the draft if it hadn't, done the whole fun video file thing that happens from time to time. But, with that, pretty strange setup, all things considered. Now, I'm really curious to see how the Echo Jungle is going to compete against Daedric on this Gragas. That's something that I want to kind of zero in on and catch a little bit more attention to as time does go on. And especially now in this new meta, the turret plating and how important early pushes can come into be. Junglers are going to have an essential part of securing all of this lane presence and power to shove. So, these two, my guys to watch, Best Cannon NA and Daedric.
I think that the most interesting thing personally is that Rem has actually gone for the smite. And this is, wait for the gank. Trying to set it up on Urgot, but it's just not happening, right? He's so far back in that lane, there's almost no way they can secure any kind of CC on him, but they're going to go for it anyway.
Yeah, they do want to find it, and the stun is there. You say any kind of CC, it's an important one. But it is just a flash for a flash at the end of the day. Best Cannon NA happy to make that trade, as Rem is going to get very far ahead in the lane for this. Burn that early teleport as well. That should be a great start to things. That's the flash hook. Yeah, they want it. That's going to be the lantern in. Flash out. Coax is there. Yeah, great patient play by Daedric to make sure he could get in around the back, but maybe waited just a little too long. Sweaty Toast. Maybe an unnecessary flash. And speaking of unnecessary, Coax, what are you doing here, pal? You've already burned your flash. The shield is not up the heel. Doesn't matter. And he walked back into that one. First blood on a silver platter for Daedric in Indiana.
Yeah, it seemed like that was almost given over. The way that it was played, it was great. They had a fantastic escape, even from the Predator Gragas. And then they give it up. But the Echo coming in from the jungle might make the difference.
Yeah, we'll see whether or not this is something that they can hope to pull off here, but I kind of doubt it with all the minions just being where they are and postured as such. So, with that, probably not going to be the biggest run of things just now. And they're going to be sitting at a 1-0 pretty comfortably for Indiana. A little bit of a gold lead for themselves here as well.
I think that the most interesting thing so far is how well Rutgers has adapted to meta, right? The fact that Rem has the smite in the mid lane is super new meta. It's all about, getting as much gold as possible. They removed the funneling restrictions. It's just good, right? It's just good for him to have that. The Echo Jungle, also pretty new, also very much in a developmental sort of phase, and I really do enjoy the way that it plays, because what it means is that they can take their tank, they can take their Scion, put him in the top lane, he does what he does. And the Aatrox can still go mid. And once the Aatrox can still go mid, the Echo functions super well as an assassin, but a lot of times in the mid lane, he can't find purchase in the kills, right? Everyone can see where he is. They can see where he's coming from. A lot of his benefit is having that stun come from outside of range. That really what actually gives them a lot of purchase.
Yeah, well, with that, they want to find a little bit here in
Good
the
trap.
mid lane. Yeah, trying to get it down, but should just be the quick back-offs. The pings to disengage. No one is too worried about that. So, whatever the case here, moving right along, we'll be happy to just come out and find themselves just a little bit more pressure here. And that pressure building mostly in the form of CS. When you look at both these sides here, it's a little bit of a lead in the mid lane for the side of Rutgers. Indiana, just a splash there in that bot lane. First kill, of course, going over to Daedric on the Gragas, something that, they definitely want to snowball into a little bit more. And actually looking at that positioning, maybe the red buff, the first thing they could take away. He's got King Jeebus there to help try to mitigate some of this. So they should get this one fairly free. Yeah, Daedric's going to have it. I doubt the gank will come through in the backline now because they've already, overplayed their hand. They know they're there. This could be bad, actually, if he doesn't get out in time, but not attack moving through the brush means Best Cannon in A not going to get what he was looking for out of that particular exchange, and that is a pretty big run, all things considered. They almost had a nice takeaway. Instead, just meant that this red buff is now Daedric's, and Daedric's alone. Not going to be worried about anything else on that, so we'll feel pretty good about his pickup there. And, maintaining just a little bit of a gold lead. About 8 minutes into this one, it's been, a slower start, save for the one kill. But beyond that, they've been looking pretty strong on the side of Indiana. This is the clean play that you would expect from an undefeated team.
Yeah, I mean, so far, no real major mistakes, but nothing really has happened. We're going to need to see them sort of, go for an objective, make that kind of play. The kill that they did get was almost gifted over, but here comes the Echo again.
Yeah, they want to find more in the mid lane. They burned that flash earlier. It's still not up from last time, which means Rem can get it. He will die for this one, though. Does not have the revive available. Meanwhile, Sweaty Toast dodging the hook, but almost certainly going to die. Dire Bump takes the credit for that one. And it's a 1-for-2 globally here, which means that still the lead for Indiana. And now Andes feeling the heat from Speedy Lion, but it actually looks like he's come out ahead on the exchange as far as those trades go. Lion wants him, but is getting punished for him.
I might have been disconnected.
Huh.
Paul, I'm not.
No, I still hear you here, so we should be okay.
I might have been disconnected there because I heard some beeps and then things stopped sounding. Okay, well, either way, if you did experience a little lapse of voice, I'm back. I'm here. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how it got to where it is. Oh, Lucian lanterned out. Okay, safe for now. But again, the kill lead still in the favor of Indiana, right? They got their kill bot lane. They got a kill in the mid. If responding onto the Aatrox really felt like a little bit of a generous one there. And then, plus their additional kill early, I mean, it just makes their gold lead a little bit larger. The Echo from behind, though, has trapped the Urgot. They're actually going to be able to get him rolled in backwards. He is in a lot of trouble right now.
That's a pickup for Rem. Another one for this Aatrox. That's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, especially after he died under turret. Needs all the help he can get. He is the only significantly winning lane. I guess you could argue the Scion, his CS lead.
It's looking pretty good, yeah. They want to find a little bit more this mid lane, the camping grounds, and just look at that. They've got that combo down so well, forcing the early stopwatch out. That means he's going to have to flash out of that one, and Best Cannon in A, having to flash himself as well, just doesn't die to the tower. I thought he was a goner for sure, and King Jeebus.
Forgot his ult.
Yeah, he smells blood in the water, but I don't think he'll get this.
He was just... I'm talking half a second. But either way, the half second makes a difference. The 10 HP makes a difference. He lives through it, survives, gets out to fight another day. This is the reason the Echo so incredibly strong as a jungler. It's the reason he was a terror back when he ruled the Rift, right? He got to go in from jungle, dash incredibly far away, and then do CC. He had stuns, he has slows, he has additionally movement speed. Once he procs his stuns and slows, that's crazy. It means he's a hypermobile jungler with a bunch of CC, and because his wave clear is still pretty good in the jungle, he doesn't really lack or want for anything. You know, his clear is fine, his damage to champions is great, and he's an assassin that scales off the first two items. It's almost a match made in heaven in terms of their lane matchups, right? They want that aggressive jungler. They need their mid laner to be able to win. The Echo gives them both. It gives them pressure, gives them damage, and gives them that chance to win the jungle.
It's been a very successful pickup for them thus far, even though it's just a score of 2 assists. And you look at, well, okay, Daedric sitting here on a kill for himself, the first blood. And really, I think, upended this bottom lane, which is, I think, where most of the pressure is coming from the side of Indiana. But best Kennen in A, causing a lot of nuisance in the mid. You can tell it's a priority shift. Okay, we want to get Rem going. We want to get our mid laner up and running on the side of Indiana. Okay, it's Dire Bump. He's the guy that we need to be funneling all of our attention into. And nice kill distribution. Good spread on the side of Indiana. Doesn't really reflect that the same way that you would expect with the lane, the CS differential. That tells all the story that 2 of those deaths on the support and AD for Rutgers. So even now, Daedric looming around that bot side, may want to find something. Could get some of that early vision down. It is just a Cloud Drake to start, but that does, of course, move the progression right along. 12 minutes, not a bad time at all to start thinking about that Drake, pressuring it out.
And they've got priority mostly in the bottom lane. They have a little bit of mid, 50-50 there. They don't have a great shove off either, so maybe they'll hold off on that part, but bottom lane definitely able to assist the jungler there. They should be coming up, if not for the fact that the Gragas is setting up for gank, but still dueling is the top lane.
Yeah, I think that thing's never going to change. Death taxes these top laners, slamming up against one another, but meanwhile, Daedric in for Sweaty Toast, finds a big one. Cokes on the way out. Kennen tries to body block a little bit, but the flash, the flay, it's there from Cokes, and Dire Bump to capitalize. And are you kidding me? The hook connects to get best Kennen in A. He has to burn the ultimate, but very likely will stay alive because I don't want to trade Daedric's life for him, and Dire Bump's health not in the greatest position either. Doesn't matter because it's still a beautiful pickup. They get Cokes. They get Sweaty Toast. Both of them punch a one-way ticket back to base on the Gray Train and are now having to pick up the pieces. Yet again, an 0-2 start for each and down 47 CS to this Dire Bump Lucian.
I mean, it's kind of really the story of the lane, right? It's just been constant aggression. They've been winning every single fight. They've been doing fantastically with their gank routes. And you look on the other side, right? The Echo didn't find perch. The Aatrox has never even thought about coming down. And so the Jhin, because he doesn't have the ability to compete with the Lucian in the early game, and he doesn't have fantastic scale either, things are starting to look pretty dire, right? If he was a skill champ, if he was that Sivir, maybe just even that Tristana, this wouldn't be so bad. Because you're saying, okay, we're a little bit down, we're down some CS. Farm it up, it'll be okay. Keep farming. He does get strong while farming, but so does Lucian, so does, the Fiora, so does the Urgot. These are all champions that do very well into the middle phase of the game, so when the hook lands, things get dangerous.
Yama on this Thresh just is not denied, and Daedric is always there to capitalize. We talked about emphasizing how these junglers would work together, and another one, Yama. This guy just keeps finding him. Sweaty Toast, they can dive him on this one. Forces out that stopwatch, but just means that Daedric has plenty of time to set up the alley-oop play on that one, and has a present waiting for him immediately on the other side of that gold stasis. Cokes, Sweaty Toast down yet again. These guys, I feel bad for them just getting camped like this, but they actually don't get first turret. Bottom tower does go down, and this should be where, they can really flex a lot of this power now, initiating the lane swap, moving the Fiora down, just starting that on their own terms. But still, mid lane tower first taken away by Rem on this Aatrox, and he's got to be the counterpoint to this entire discussion, right? That Rem can get in here, he can make their lives just so troublesome, forcing the flash on Speedy Lion, and ult out of best Kennen, but that almost took him out right there. He's very low for it.
Yeah, keep in mind, there still was another projectile from the turret that had to hit. Once it connected, things look a little bit grim. But even so, 7-2, very good play by Indiana so far. They've managed to not only control the map, control their problems that they generated for themselves in the early game as well. Urgot's losing. He's losing fantastically. The ganks are doing really well against him. He's just getting kind of camped. The mid turret goes down. All they do is say, okay, take the bottom turret, throw the AD up top. Even if the Urgot dies again, he's already got one of his 2 items. I mean, how much longer can they deny him for?
What are you losing out on in the grand scheme?
Yeah, and the answer is not very long. So in that sense, they're just kind of playing the numbers game and saying, okay, you might have shut down one of our champs, but it's one of the ones that only needs 2 items and already has one of them. It's not much of a shutdown, you know? So they need a little bit more. That is the side of Rutgers, if they want to actually pull ahead in this, right? Indiana so far has been setting the pace. They've been setting the tempo. They've been getting the objectives. If Rutgers wants to do that, first off, you got to not get hooked. And second off, you really got to not get hooked. That's been the success of basically every single play that they have ever made, except for the answer kill in the mid lane when when Aatrox dove and took the shot.
Right, yeah, just the trade-away tower kind of becoming the biggest
Predator.
one there. But meanwhile, Rem, yeah, he's not afraid of Daedric. This is a 4-0 Gragas, keep in mind. Rem is happy to take this fight
anymore.
and follow through. More coming through as Yama is there. This is that Thresh play. We're waiting for him to make something happen, and it's actually the stopwatch he has to pop. There's the curtain call, and Cokes finds that one for himself. Going to connect with King Jeebus to get the slow, but the 4th shot is not there. So
You were bot lane, though.
it's a great pickup, yeah, but what are they sacrificing for it? Well, this bot lane tower should be taken out, no contest. Andez does not have his teleport. He actually has had to back and base. No ultimate, just coming off a cooldown now. But this tower is dead to rights, and there's going to be nothing they can do to pick that one up for themselves. 17.5 minutes on the clock, and every time Rutgers seem to make something happen, Indiana, well, they've got an answer for it, and gotta wonder what Coach Analyst Oreo is thinking about this one.
The Rengar one trick, I mean, I think he's probably thinking about snacks. You know, maybe about how his team...
Well, you always want to get fed.
True. And isn't that the real goal of every Rengar player? Just to get fed?
Mm-hmm.
Right, just hand fed.
It makes so much
Members
sense now.
of your team, every single time. I mean, it makes perfect sense. So, in that sense, it's almost the ultimate coach for anyone who plays Assassins, right? It's just, what's your advice? Get fed. You know, the most Korean of Korean advice, but just get fed. Get a bunch of kills, get fed. The not so easy part right now, they have a gold lead, right? Indiana have a gold lead. They've got some purchase. They've got, you know, a turret above for their name, a 2nd-tier bottom turret, in fact, off the Fiora split push. But they haven't made anything happen in quite some time, right? The Fiora split push was the only noticeable change in the way that they're playing the game. And when you have a gold lead, you need to push a little bit faster than that. You have a Lucian, she falls off. You have a Fiora, she starts getting ganked, or she starts getting womboed. It's not going to matter. You don't have a split push after that point. And the Gragas already is feeling the effect of the painful lineup being brought by Rutgers, right? There's so much damage on the Aatrox. They've got an Echo to boot and a Jhin. If you stick around for any length of time with that kind of a Gragas build, you're just going to get popped.
Yeah, I mean, having that Zanya's Hourglass on Gragas, too, it says to me that he's going to want to take some of this initiation just on the chin, get in, pop the ult, and then have to use that Zanya's while the rest of his team just uses that time to get in the enemy's face. But meanwhile, they actually have a teleport coming down. Yeah, they want to get it. Rem couldn't decide which way to go, and that could be bad news, but they want to get in onto Daedric. There's the Zanya's buying him some time, but it's not enough as he is the first casualty of this fight. The resurrection for Rem gone down. The culling is there. The suppression means King Jeebus gets best cannon in A. Yama will go down for this one. We got a scrap in the top lane, but Speedy Lion's not losing this one. King Jeebus may get punished for it, but this could be an inhibitor for the likes of Rutgers. What else is going to happen? Well, King Jeebus down. Sweaty Toast trying to get out. Not going to find it as Dire Bump picks himself up that kill. Now has to dodge the curtain call. The first connects.
Two.
One more. Can you land the 4th? The answer is yes. It's the pickup, and we keep it a 4-frag game thus far. But Speedy Lion getting that kill in the bot lane. This could be the tide turn. The best cannon in A is going to be have to be what they use to stop it. And the wave just wasn't there. So the tower is actually going to survive. And that's a huge gain for Rutgers at the end of the day. I thought for sure Once you know, Speedy Lion got that kill over Andes, that was going to be an inhibitor down. Had all the time in the world, but didn't convert, and we were watching the fight. I didn't exactly see how that happened. Must have just been the wave.
Yeah, the wave is kind of far back, and the other thing is, even though Fiora has the Hydra, sometimes she just lacks the mana to actually push properly, right? Even if you have the Hydra, even if you have a wave prepped, you just don't have enough mana to actually fight anyone who walks up. So what you have to do then is say, okay, the wave is almost prepped. I'm gonna let it shove back, go back, get more resources, and then do the exact same thing all over again.
That is the curse of top lane. Once you initiate the lane switch, is repetition, repetition, repetition. Well, those that are best at it and can find those consistent patterns and replicate them ad infinitum are certainly the most effective in that role. Been looking good for Speedy Lion thus far. Not a glamorous game, but a 1-0-0, up about 15 CS at 21 minutes.
I'm surprised it's only 15 actually. That's a relatively good job of the
Andes, yeah.
Of Amdes for keeping even. You know, super surprised about that one from the Scion. With the Echo coming behind the Fiora, nope, actually going towards the mid lane, gonna leave the Scion completely to his own devices.
Yeah, they want another fight. This went well for Rutgers last time, but under tower, that might be the difference. Rem is low. The Resurrection, best cannon, and it has to ult out, but they do find Yama. They do find the tower as well. So we'll see if they want to go for the re-engage. I doubt it. Meanwhile, Fiora wants to find the flank. Andes, can you hold this one off? Doesn't matter. Daedric's in for the flash. And there's the flank. Speedy Lion gets best cannon in A, but Rem is there trying to hold it off. Does not find success there. And Andes, the next one, having to flash out. It's a big root, but Cokes, you got to be careful not to get pulled back in on this one.
Flash from the Gragas.
Yeah, the curtain call, probably not going to do too much here. Some harassment shots, but yeah, just gets King Jeebus down to about half. And that's a big pickup there for the side of Indiana. They're going to feel great about that one, getting the Braum, the Aatrox, and the Kennen NA, obviously being played by playing the Echo there. Gonna feel really good for themselves there. That's more kills for the Lucian, more kills for the Fiora. No downsides.
Yeah, no downsides at all, right? The only downsides were
You lose Yama. Who cares?
yeah, 1 kill. I mean, that's really not that bad. The thing that worries me is the gold lead has kind of stagnated, right? When we saw K Gold, 6 minutes looks fantastic, right? You're getting advantages, you're going to be able to push them. But now, it has slowed down considerably. This is not the game that we once knew. It's not, you know, just roaring ahead without any care in the world. It is more measured. There is engine. Yeah, there's coal in the engine. But it's not just being shoveled in, right? You got to kind of meter out what's left, coast for a little bit. Then, once you're refueled, go for it again.
And a lot of that seems to be that they can't win a fight without Fiora right now, right? On the side of Indiana. Yeah. And so you're kind of caught in this damned if you do, damned if you don't. Leave Fiora in the bot lane, try to get the pressures there. Or bring it up in the fight, win the fight, but then, you know, not be able to capitalize off of it just yet because the death timers aren't where they need to be.
I think that right now would be the time. Yeah, they are sending the Scion back, right? So you see the Fiora, you say, okay, you can do about halfway into the lane, we got to send some. At that point, it still takes recall time plus another 3 to 5 seconds to shove the wave into the turret. So they have time to get back there, they have time to defend it, set up a little bit of a perimeter, and then retry. But this is all great and hypothetical, right? Fantastic gameplay and hypothetical. The only major moves we've seen in the last couple of minutes have been to try and make that turret dive happen, right? That was from the team that was behind trying to make the turret dive happen. So they just walk in, try to get the turret dive, it doesn't work. What they have to do now is they have to reconsider. They have to say, okay, turret dive didn't work. How are we actually going to find an advantage? You know, can we win the 5v5s? Is that actually possible? The answer right now is probably no. Fiora's just too strong for you to win a 5v5, but she's also really never there. Maybe you just take the 5 versus 4. Until her teleport is gone, she can't go bottom lane. She's just risking her team dying. At that point, only then can you say, yes, we've dealt with Fiora, now on to the rest.
It's a tricky situation they find themselves in for sure here, and something that you expect a little bit more out of some of these players on the side of Rutgers. Maybe not Andes, you know, he's been playing his part about as well as you could have expected right now. Now, we were praising him for keeping the CS lead short. It's since grown dramatically, and those kills on Fiora as well from the last fight going to start making that big of a difference. So even though earlier we were saying, yeah, he's doing a good job of mitigating this, now he's going to have to do an even better job just because of the position Fiora has found herself in from that last fight, having the Hydra and Triforce both completed. This is where it gets tricky because they just want to replicate that same situation. Rutgers, they know they can probably find a fight here without Fiora. They're bringing up Andes here. He's not teleporting. He's just roaming straight up after resetting the wave. The pings are down. They see him, pinging the towers. No one can decide exactly what they want to do here. It's this game of cat and mouse, and seems to be benefiting Indiana when you consider the amount of vision they're able to control around this river. It's being answered back now by Rutgers, so this one's going to be a line in the sand. We'll see if either team bold enough to cross it, as we've crossed 26 minutes. Dragon's coming up as well. Didn't get a chance to look at which one that's going to be, but Daedric wants to start this one off. There's the Glacial Fissure as well. Yama's hood up. That is going to be the teleport coming in as well. Meanwhile, Best Kennen in A gets the first kill. Curtain Call in the backline. It's about the perfect situation for the Jhin right now, but he needs to get closer to make this happen. Fiora still in the bot lane. Shut down. They get Urgot. They will disengage. This is probably that inhibitor that we talked about. Same situation as last time. That's 3 backs, and they just can't hold this one off.
Yeah, the Fiora will get this inhibitor, even though they won the fight, still going to lose a massive objective for it, and that's the real problem with split pushers. How do you deal with them?
Sweaty toast.
At this point, they're going to try and just go for the kill.
Yeah, 2 versus 1. Well, that's a decent enough way to deal with it, unless the opponent can 2v1. The answer's not this time. Rem has the damage there, thanks to the Braum passive as well to lock that up. And they do answer back with a base tower of their own. So they win the fight by, what, 3 kills? And then, when you consider Fiora, but they lose an inhibitor for it. That's about the net of this all. So, obviously, I think that Indiana's going to be happy enough with this trade, especially, you know, okay, hey, maybe first death Fiora, not ideal. And losing that inner mid tower, or I'm sorry, base mid tower. But I think getting that inhibitor in the bot lane, especially when Baron is going to be such a hotly contested objective, is going to net them the better run of things in the end here. And what do you know? Another Cloud Drake, the third and final. That one's taken out and away. Will be the speedier team for all time, being Rutgers.
Well, don't say all time. Mine. There's still mobility boots in the game.
There are.
If everyone buys mobility boots, 5 Zeals, you get the Mastery Int special.
The old, you know, race to fountain.
The old race to the death, you know, the teleport revive Master Yi that would just run down mid. Oh, good times. Good times. Back when League of Legends was a simpler game, you know?
World
Inters
men,
were inters. You expected it.
We'll see. I don't know what to expect with this game, honestly. They're still leaving Fiora just in that bot lane. This is where you might expect them to transition to top, but
She really should be, you know? She already has an inhibitor bot lane. I know you're wanting to pressure the base. I know you want to keep Sion trapped there. It's not the best way to do it, though, right? You need to be pressuring other lanes. You need the other inhibitors falling. With just one inhibitor is good and all, but you can't kill Sion. It's just not happening, especially when he's Fountain that close, especially when he's able to, you know, just ignore your damage. You can maybe kill the turrets. Still pressuring on towards them. Speedy Lion. Be very careful about this, or else he's going to end up in a zoo.
Well, they finally brought Rem back here, and that means that the rest of the team's probably, you know, that's their go signal to start on Baron, but not with the Fiora dead. And now Sweaty Toast doing a good job of pulling him back here. Spooked him pretty good to get him away from that Kennen as well, forcing the start with the damage over the wall. Means that if Rutgers want to find it, they could initiate a full 5-on-5 here instead. They know they need to leave Andes down to police these minions. They lost a Nexus tower off of that. And I'm fairly certain when Fiora respawns, Lion would be absolutely happy to just go do the same thing, take that other Nexus tower, and then it would be a lot of chaos for Rutgers to have to deal with there if you just get that exact same exchange, but with the second Nexus tower out of it.
I mean, absolutely, right? This is still a very difficult lane to defend. The Sion has good pushback mechanics for super minions. He can still deal with them. He can keep the turret relatively clear with his AoE knockup. But if he ever does start to fall behind, this is the important part. If he starts to fall behind, if he starts to get soloed, the game is basically lost. Having to bring back anybody else from his team to stop this Fiora would be just dooming them to a very slow, painful death. Or giving up the Baron objective, right? They need to be able to pressure this. They need to be able to threaten the 4 versus 4 fight. 5 versus 5, maybe you don't want to take that. It still remains to be seen. Both of these teams have taken quite a long break between this and the last time they fought, but the Baron has been started.
Yeah, they were sneaking in for that one. Yama, I don't understand this. How does a guy that lands every hook on these moving targets throw it at the stationary Baron and miss? We'll find out. Meanwhile, King Jeebus is going to be in the middle of this, and he's going to be focused down very heavily. Best Kennen in A. Ready to make that one happen, and this could actually be devastating with that inhibitor in the mid lane open. King Jeebus, that's a 45-second death timer still. Yama going to pull Dire Bump back in, but gets rooted himself. That's going to be Jin finding this one. Cokes dominating that first kill. The curtain call, not going to be enough to finish him off, but Best Kennen NA certainly is, and I think Rutgers may have just won this game, Zeta. They're going to be able to absolutely shred this mid lane. The minions are coming. Supers will be spawning after that. The Supers on the side of Indiana, not in a close position, and you're kidding me. They're just going to be able to take this one right out of the way. What can Dire Bump do? What can Speedy Lion do against 5? They have the time. It's 54-52. The goal lead actually in favor of Rutgers by the end of this game. They've been playing from a deficit, but one catch turns it into the victory here. And in 31 and a half minutes, they take it away. You got to be kidding me.
What?
Okay.
I mean, if there was ever a way to end a game, that was clean, right? It was very well played by Rutgers. They said, okay, a small advantage in the fight, take the second kill. Okay, we got the second kill, take the third kill. As soon as the third kill happens, they've played so much League of Legends, they've been in this situation so many times that they know exactly what to do. They say, oh, the game's over. And they walk mid and end. I mean, they kept all 5 up. It was a very clean fight by them, for sure, but you don't just win because you have a very clean fight, right? You don't just do that. You have to have the experience to tell you, yes, the game is able to be ended right now. We can do it. We have the champions. We have the damage. They knew all of that. And because they knew that, game that was one-sided for quite some time, or at least favored.
Absolutely favored.
Right? Indiana was slightly favored at most of that game. Just gets swept aside, right? Rutgers is a fantastic team. They're showing us exactly why. Indiana had control until they didn't. It was a Dignitas story all over again. They're going to need to come back in game 2. They want to make a difference.
So I want to pull back just to the game screen to highlight one thing. Neither outer tower in bot or top was taken. It was literally just a run down mid scenario. If you look at the mini-map there. That is bizarre to me. That it was just, 3 mid lane towers, 2 Nexus towers. That's the game. 5 towers on the day. And they take that one up and away. They're actually dealing Indiana their first loss in a series. Of a game.
Of league.
Yeah, in this entire season. So that is bizarre to me. Well, either way, we're going to see how they can regroup because Indiana, a team that's proven that they can potentially take these games away. Rutgers as well, maybe making for an exciting rest of the series here. We'll see if Indiana can battle back in the second game or if Rutgers will take this 2-0. But in the meantime, we're going to throw it over to a quick break. Get these teams prep for this second game, see what Coach Oreo has to say about that come-from-behind win, and we'll come back in just a few minutes. Thanks.